This week you will learn what my 3 favorite illusions are. You will understand how they changed my life and how they will change yours. And you get a very rare glimpse into the mind of how illusionists think. I guarantee you it's going to be a fascinating newsletter this week. So let's get started. It is not who you are that's holding you back. It is the illusions of who you think you're not. This is Anders Hansen, and I'm here to help you shatter those illusions and live the life of your dreams. Hi, this is Anders Hansen, and welcome to Insights to Impossible. In this week, you will learn what my 3 favorite illusions are. You will understand how they changed my life and how they will change yours. And you get a very rare glimpse into the mind of how illusionists think. So let's get started. Years ago, I traveled to India to really ground myself and to get back on track with me, something I think very few people are good at. I certainly was not, which is what led me there. And as I was there, I was continually working on, of course, illusions, as I do mentally, always playing around with different concepts and how to illustrate them. And it was at the very beginning of my journey. And I was playing around with the idea of how to illustrate that impossible is an illusion, because it is. What you believe to be impossible is a mental construct that you created based on your past experiences about life and the reality that you're surrounded by, and to a large extent, other people's opinions. I heard it all my upbringing. You can't do that, Anders, that's impossible. And I said, well, that's why I want to do it. Snap your fingers, make a car appear. It's impossible. Of course, that's why I want to do it. Make the lottery numbers, predict them on national television. Of course, I know it's impossible, Mom. That's why I want to do it. And on it went. So that became my normal way of thinking. But I don't think it is for most people. Had you asked the Wright brothers, though, if they thought it was impossible to fly, everybody else thought so. Everything that's heavier than air is being attracted to the center of the earth. Gravity, that was the logic, right? That was the awareness. But they didn't care. That wasn't impossible to them. They knew there was a way. So how often do we dismiss that in our life as being impossible? So I wanted to take that and illustrate it on stage with an illusion. Now let's first talk about what an illusion actually is. An illusion is what happens when what you observe is different than your assumptions about what you observe. Let's do that one more time. An illusion happens not on stage, not in my hands, it happens in your mind. When what you observe happen is in contrast with what you assume is going to happen. So I came up with this idea of taking a pen, a Sharpie pen, write the word impossible on a piece of paper, snap my fingers, and having the letters fall off the paper. Why is that illusion so effective? You have held a Sharpie pen many times. You've been writing on pieces of paper many times, and the letters always stayed on the paper, didn't they? That would be the assumption. So when people see me go on stage and write out letters on a piece of paper, they would assume the letters would stick to the paper. The moment they fall off, the illusion happened. And they learned that illusion existed only in their mind. They also learned that impossible is very subjective. They also learned that the label impossible changes depending on who you ask. It can disappear as quick as it can appear. So next time you hear people say, that's impossible, say, really? Could that be an opinion? Most people express their opinions in impossible by using that word. They don't express reality. In fact, the letters themselves say, I'm possible, so maybe change it to that next time. Somebody says, that's impossible. Oh, you mean I'm possible? Let's try and get their reactions from that.
Impossible. What does that word mean for you? I have found that impossible is nothing but a label we assign to something based on our belief system. So what is it? Is it a quantum leap in results? Is it turning your annual income into your monthly income? Is it great health in your body, inner peace of mind? What is impossible for you? What is impossible? Nothing! I like that. Beautiful. What we usually perceive to be impossible is nothing but an illusion. However, it is a very, very, very convincing one. That was an illusion, and it was also impossible. So what is an illusion? An illusion is something that is wrongly perceived or wrongly interpreted by your senses. I believe much of what we call reality, and certainly what we deem impossible, are nothing but that. Illusions. False concepts that we have inherited, and unfortunately, those concepts prevent us from achieving what we really want in life. Instead, we're so programmed, aren't we, to go for what's normal, reasonable, predictable. Because what we really want for ourselves, our team, and our family is impossible. Right? Good. Now, I know a thing or two about illusions and how to deceive people's senses, because I did it for a living for close to 20 years, producing and performing shows on television and cruise ships all over the world. And what I realized was that it didn't take my work at all, because people are already great at deceiving themselves. Already doing it. In fact, I will dare to claim that you are in fact doing that right this very minute. What? How so, do you ask, Anders? Well, you may think you see the world with your eyes. You do not. You see through your eyes. You see with cells of recognition in your brain. And those cells are programmed based on your assumptions and your beliefs about the world.
The second illusion that is my absolute favorite, it's in the top 3, is the illusion of knowledge. That's right. You and I know what it takes to get better results in life. I know what I need to do to get better results. With my health, I know I need to exercise mental discipline so that I eat different. I know if I want to earn more, I have to provide better service, more service. You probably know a lot of things too, by the way of all amazing information that you've been gathering. But you see, what we know and what we do are miles apart. In fact, in most people's cases, that difference is larger than the Grand Canyon. I mean, there's a big gap there in people's lives. I know that, I've seen that, I have the certificate, I've taken the education. The first thing I look at is a person's results. Show me your results. They show me how good you've integrated that information, and that can only happen when you change your paradigm. So I was thinking for a long time, how can I illustrate what we know and what we do, and how can we bring it together in a beautiful harmony so that we start acting on all the beautiful knowledge? You have a series of habits that you act on without any conscious thought. I know you have, I know I have. And so we can know a whole lot, and we do a lot less with all that beautiful knowledge. The older we get, the less we do, the more we know, the more frustration happens in a person's life. Most people take that frustration to their grave. They never solve the challenge. The challenge is understanding what we know is over here, what we do is over here, and then bring them together. Also, you could say you're changing your paradigm. So I wanted to be able to write on a big board on stage what we know over here, and everything over here, what we should do. There's a big gap between. There's 2 boards standing on stage, big gap in between. How can we write stuff on this piece of paper over here and that piece of paper over here, and how can we make those 2 pieces of paper fuse together in a flash of fire? That's exactly what I wanted to do. And that is one of the biggest illusions at Real Magic Live. In fact, we take a lot of things from the audience that they know they should do, and a lot of things that they know about. We know this, we know we should do that, and we bring it together, and I teach them how to change their programming, their habitual thought patterns, so that they actually step out and act on it. That is one of my favorite illusions. Not only because it involves a little bit of fire, but because it's really, it's big and it shows up well and it has a wow factor to it. And it really breaks a lot of assumptions because you can't just fuse two pieces of paper, can you? And then hand them to the audience and, you know, have them examine it. You just can't do that. Exactly. That's why we do it.
I know how to do that. I do. Yeah, I know how to do that. Yeah, I know I should definitely improve my health. I know that. Yep. I know that I should sign up more clients and coaches. I know that. I know. And I definitely know I should get out in the world and be more visible with what I do. I know that. But it's getting close to the weekend, you know? Yeah, they probably don't have time. I'll call them back on Monday. Yeah, ooh, that chocolate cake. Today turned into a cheat day, like the other 6 days out of the week. Can you recognize the gap that exists within you between what you intellectually know you should do and what you actually do? For most people, that gap is wider than the Grand Canyon. Do you recognize the gap? Be honest. Let me see a show of hands. Beautiful. For us to effectively overcome this next illusion, the illusion of knowledge, we gotta really get this concept. And as we do, it will help change our mind, our subconscious conditioning really, because that is what we're talking about. And it will help propel us into growth in all areas of our lives. We have been programmed to think that knowledge equals success. We have an entire educational system built around gathering more information. Just another seminar, just another class, just another program. That's the way we've been programmed, gathering in information for years. American companies spend billions every year getting people to remember more things. That's really what training is. We have never been taught how to take information from the conscious side of our mind, relate it to the subconscious so that it becomes part of our behavior and results. That we're never taught. It wasn't until I heard my mentor, Bob Proctor, tell me that I was not getting the results in life that I wanted because I was not programmed to produce those results. And if I wanted the results, I had to change my programming. Ding! It was the biggest light bulb that ever went off in my mind. I mean, it was like Edison crawling in there himself, you know, and flicking on the switch for me. I, the illusionist, was living with the illusion of knowledge. I knew how to do it better, but I didn't execute on it. Are you ready to explore that illusion right now? Oh, that's so good. Over here, we have what we know. Everything. This is an expression of our intellect. We know a whole lot. Over here is what we do with that knowledge. And what we should do with that knowledge. So, what's a big one? What is one thing we know we should do? You're in health, improve health. That would be an obvious one, wouldn't it? Yeah? All right, we'll go with that. Improve health. We know we should do that. And what do we do? What do we do? We eat cake. Yes, we do. Well, what should we do? Get healthy. Get healthy. I like that. We should definitely get healthy and make wise choices. What's another one? We know we should start more clients and coaches, right? We know we should. Yeah. We'll grab that. Start clients and C, coaches. What do we do? What do we do? Take a nap. Thank you for the honesty. What should we do? What should we do? Have the conversation? Have convo. Yeah. Have convo. Didn't fit conversation. I love the answer though. Let's pick one last one. We know that we should use social media. We know we should, yes? We'll grab that. Use social media. And I heard you had a brilliant formula. 3-3-3. Yeah. 3 posts a day, 3 new friend requests a day, 3 new direct messages. I love that. What do we do though? We scroll! Oh no! Oh! We scroll. Oh. Oh no. Okay. No. What should we do? Do the work. Yeah. Do the work. Beautiful. All right. Let's say that became your new autopilot programming. Let's say that choosing food that always served your health became your just normal way of going about in the world. No resistance anymore. Don't have to think about it. Do you think your results would change in that area? Yes. Let's say that you have the conversation as often as you possibly can. Every time you come in contact with a new person, it's automatic for you now to start probing where they are, where they want to be with their health. If you did that, would that have an effect on your results? Absolutely it would. And we stop scrolling and we start doing the work. Every day. It's just normal for us to constantly schedule posts, engage with our audience. Would that have an effect on our results? Absolutely. So how do we bring those pieces of the puzzle together? How do we take what we know and turn it into what we do? Now that is what we're going to be talking about, and that is the secret sauce. If I can get this thing to work. There we go. It has to do with the magic of repetition. And there's a science to it. I'm going to share that with you in a moment. It's absolutely beautiful. So that what we know turns into what we do. That's when we've moved into growth in all areas of our lives. Are you ready to create real magic? What we know has effectively turned into what we do, and we have conquered the illusion of knowledge.
Third one is something I've been playing around with for 13 years. You heard me right. I was studying quantum physics when I really got into this world of magic and personal transformation because I wanted to know how we change the world around us. My world changed, I changed, my world changed, but I had to understand what happened to me. So I studied quantum physics, spirituality, personal development, everything I could get my hands on to try and understand reality more. And the more I studied quantum physics, the more fascinated I got with it, because all Newton's laws totally falls by the wayside. There's a new set of laws there. There's a new set of rules when it comes to quantum physics. And one of them is time. We have been taught that time is a linear thing. This is the illusion of time. I know this is deep and this is going to fascinate you. All right, so stay tuned. We have been taught to perceive time as a linear construct. Past is behind us, present is here, future's out there somewhere. That's how we've been programmed. If you ask the Mayan culture 4,000 years ago in Central America and Mexico, how they would perceive time, they would show you a cyclical calendar. Remember the Mayan calendar that was supposed to end in 2012? Cyclical. Their version of time happened in cycles, like cycles in nature. Then quantum physics comes along and we're being taught that time is organic. Time expands from the present moment. And this is the kicker. a decision you make in the moment travels both ways in time simultaneously. That was such a big idea. I had a hard time even grasping it intellectually. A decision that you make right now travels both ways in time simultaneously, affecting the future and the past at the same time. I said, how can I illustrate that? How could I illustrate that with an illusion? That took me 13 years. 2 years ago, I still hadn't cracked the code, but I decided that I was going to do it that year. And so I teamed up with some of the best in the world that produces illusions and help bring them to life. And those are my partners in crime today. We work together and we collaborate, and illusion projects in Las Vegas have been greatly responsible for a lot of the great illusions and the big pieces that you see at Real Magic Live. But the illusion of time is one of them. We bring an audience member on stage, have them pick a very random time, and that decision travels back in time, affecting everybody's table in the room with something very specific. And that decision also travels forwards in time and creates a really impossible scenario right in front of them. And you get to realize that all you have is this moment. That's it. You control everything right now. There is no past, there is no future. These are illusions. All you have is now. And it's what you make with the now that will give you everything else. But the future does not arrive as the future. When the future, wouldn't that be crazy? The future don't just arrive behind someone's back like, oh, that's the future. That doesn't happen. The future arrives as the present moment. That's the only way the future can arrive as. So this is it. So it's what you do with this moment that will change anything for you. And it's uncomfortable because we haven't been taught to be the best we can be in any given moment.
Productivity technique that Ivy Lee taught Charles Schwab, the greatest steel company in the world at the time, and they grew their results tremendously by applying one technique about becoming more present in the moment and taking one thing at a time. But the human attention span has gone from 12 seconds down to 9 according to a Time magazine article, and the human attention span is about what? Somewhere in the middle, close to a goldfish. Because of all the distractions, all the things we're bombarded with every single day. So before we get to the illusion itself, which I'm really excited about, it's been 5 months in the works. Let's create a little perspective on time. 5,000 years ago, the Mayan culture in Central America perceived time as being cyclical. How many remember the Mayan calendar that was supposed to end in 2012? Well, that's a pretty crazy concept, isn't it? If something is cyclical, how can it ever end? And many people operated with the assumption it would. So their perception was that time was cyclical. How are we conditioned? We're conditioned to think that time is linear, aren't we? Past is behind us, future is here, present is here, and the future is somewhere out there. That's how we live, don't we? Past is behind us, present is here, future is somewhere out there. But is that an accurate model? Not really. When you study quantum physics, the more we go into the depth of the universe and reality, we find that time is organic. Time expands from the present moment. Which means, and hold on, this is a real brain fart. That means a decision you make right now travels back in time and affects someone's decision in the past. It travels forward in time and affects someone's decision in the future simultaneously. What? Let's do that one more time. So a decision you make right now travels back in time and forwards in time simultaneously. Because this is all there is. This expands. When I first heard that, it was almost frying my mind. I mean, how can you possibly illustrate it? So for years, I've been grappling with that idea of creating an illusion that would illustrate that concept and showing the importance of this precious moment. And I just couldn't seem to come up with the right picture or the right concept. And as Mr. Bob pointed out earlier, for me to create an illusion, I have to go to that impossible scenario. What would be the most impossible thing right now? You don't let how get in your way, you just focus on what. And then you integrate it, you keep affirming it, and then the hows will show up. Well, that didn't really happen with this one. And I realized it didn't because I hadn't made a decision, really. So at New Year's this year, I decided this is the year where I'm going to develop the illusion of time. So for 5 months, it's been trial and error. It's been failing our way to something that works. Literally, Wednesday, the whole thing broke down because a grain of sand was in the wrong place. One grain of sand. All right, try again. Back in the shop. 20 minutes before we opened the doors, James, the incredible technician down there, was still working on it and trying to figure out some things. Wasn't quite right. So who would like to see the illusion of time for the very first time? All right, phenomenal. I want to make sure this looks very random. And it has to be random, otherwise you're gonna go back and say, oh, well, Anders, you set the whole thing up. So I am going to throw something out in the audience, all right? And if you see this thing flying towards you, what you really need to do is make sure that you catch it. What? Remember what we talked about earlier. We see with our assumptions, not our eyes, because you see the shape of a hammer, you assume it's a hammer. It's a rubber hammer. It doesn't do much harm, depending on what you use it with, for. But there's still glasses on the table. We want to make sure they don't get thrown over. So I'm going to turn my back to the audience. I'm going to throw it out. And if you see it flying towards you, still catch it. All right? Here we go. Awesome! All right. I heard something up here. Then I heard a clunk. But I see you joining me. Good to see you, my friend. Come right over here. Right there in the middle. Yeah, that's awesome. Wow! You have support in the audience.
Thank you, guys.
Was it your goal to be here? I love it. Good deal. All right, Mr. Justin. We have here a slot machine. No, don't get too excited. It's a time selector. This wheel chooses the hour, and these two chooses the minutes. Very simple, right? Now, let's take a look at the other side. So as you can tell, whoops, there we go. Very simple, 3 wheels. Very simple. All right, Justin, I'm going to turn it back around, and you are now going to reach through here, and you're going to select the time. Very randomly. I don't know what you choose, they don't know what you choose, you don't know what you choose. Just spin the wheels until it feels right. I can tell you've been in Vegas before. Yeah, I can tell. Unfortunately, there's no slots on this one. But you got it now? You're sure you want to stay there? All right, come back around. Let's take a look. 1:45. Justin, thank you very much, my friend. Give him a big round of applause. 1:45. Remember, what lies behind us and what lies ahead of us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. In this moment, because that is all we will ever have. This precious, beautiful, never-ending moment. Time is running. Justin made the decision 01:45. Do you agree that that was a random decision in the moment? Yes. Great. That decision already traveled back in time. It affected somebody's decision 2 weeks ago. My incredible assistant, Lisa. Lisa, raise your hand. There she is. She's doing an absolutely phenomenal job. She is an Air Force veteran, 23 years in the service, and we thank her for her service. No, she's running my events like a drill sergeant. I mean, I'm just doing what she's telling me. She made a decision 2 weeks ago. She had a little hard time with the decision. She had to choose some graphics, some numbers, and I told her, Lisa, just go with your intuition. Go with what feels right. She settled on it. She printed it. She, not in 1 or 2 or 5 copies, no, she made a decision and printed it in 500 copies. What I'm talking about is the postcard that's sitting in front of you on the table right now. The decision of 1:45 traveled back in time, affected this clock that says 1:45. How would it look? How would it look if that decision traveled forward in time and affected the undefined future? How would that look? This is my take on it. Inside the hourglass, a clock has appeared. It says 1:45 on its face. As Albert Einstein once said, the distinction between the past, the present, and the future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. Because time is now.
I would encourage you right now to review this multiple times, go back and watch it again. It stimulates creative thought. You've gotten an insight into a magician's workshop, the mental workshop, which is where everything happens. And in the similar vein, that is where it happens in your life. It is in your mental workshop. It's what you do with your mind that will give you everything in your life. But when you get into the habit of living in the moment, none attached to what happened 10 minutes ago, none attached to what you think is going to happen on Monday, you're more happy, less mind clutter. You know, when you look at dogs, they're always happy. Why do you think that is? They're in the moment. So are we mindful or are we mindful? Is our mind full or are we mindful? When you're mindful and you're here right now, you control everything else. It's a big idea. The illusion of impossible, the illusion of knowledge, the illusion of time, those are three beautiful pieces that you will see at Real Magic Live among many other illusions. The entire roadmap that will teach you how to make anything happen in your life. So if you want more freedom, greater health, better relationships, more income, more freedom, you have the entire blueprint there. And it's served in a way that makes the medicine taste better. So if you have friends, family, maybe youngsters that you would like to introduce to personal development, Real Magic Live is the answer. Because again, the magic makes the medicine taste better. It just does. Click below and check our upcoming schedule for Real Magic Live events. Make sure you subscribe to this video. Leave us a comment below about what you think of these three illusions. And I am looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Insights to Impossible. This is Anders Hansen from Denmark, in a back room in a theater with all our props here that we're getting ready to unpack. I'll see you next week. Bye for now. I really hope that you took a lot of valuable insight away from this video today. And to make sure you stay updated in terms of everything Real Magic World, including programs and live events, make sure that you enable your notifications and most importantly, subscribe to this channel so that you will be the first to know.